Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel, dear brothers and sisters. Sister Aisha Jibril Alexander, an airline pilot, has found her way to Islam. Her spiritual journey is truly remarkable. Born in Colombia and raised in a Roman Catholic family, Aisha always had a deep interest in various religions. In 2001, Sister Aisha had her first encounter with Islam while working for a Canadian airline owned by Muslims. She pursued her career with a strong emphasis on professionalism. Despite relocating with her family, they continued to uphold their religious values, just like most devout Catholics. I got married in 2003, a marriage that was unfortunately marked by domestic violence. However, after coming out of that sad chapter, I was blessed with a beloved child who is now 8 years old. My husband at the time did not believe in God, or I should say he believed in his own way. He pulled me away from God, even from Christianity. That was the saddest episode of my life, she recalled. For her, a great fortune came when she had the opportunity to live in Malaysia, which she described as a country that recognizes 3 religions, primarily Islam, along with Hinduism and Buddhism. There, she experienced daily exposure to Islam and began learning about it. Then I lived in South America and worked in the United States as a corporate pilot. Now I am an airline pilot, primarily flying to destinations in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. Unfortunately, as the only female pilot almost everywhere I went, I spent much of my free time in loneliness. Most of my colleagues spent their leisure time in nightclubs and bars, while I was searching for something else, something I could never find in a club or bar. So I dedicated my free time to continuing my university studies online. However, there was no time for God except for a short prayer in the morning and maybe sometimes at night. So I grew as a career woman, but a question arose: what about life after this? This was a deep reflection for Aisha. When I traveled to the Middle East, I always felt something special during those trips. There, I found myself dressing in a way that was better than how I usually dressed. For example, I used to wear tight jeans, leggings, and sleeveless tops, but I didn't feel comfortable dressing like that in the Middle East, especially in a sacred place where people pray to God 5 times a day. I felt embarrassed, truly uneasy. I think this was a sign of change, a shift in my heart. Once, while in Bahrain waiting for my plane to be prepared, I downloaded the Quran and started praying, trying to pray as taught in the Quran every morning before breakfast. I had a deep reflection. Is my life really just about eating, drinking, working, sleeping, then exercising, sleeping again, eating again, and repeating? But what about my spiritual life? Even when I returned home, I wasn't guiding my child. I wasn't teaching him to pray. In my search for God, I had moved from the Catholic Church to a Baptist church, and after the baptism ceremony, we only went back a few times, mainly due to my tight work schedule. And honestly, it felt ordinary, as if nothing was missing. Empty, Sister Aisha explained. And Sister Aisha reflected, is Allah present in my life? Yes, indeed, but He has a better plan for me. I believe He was just waiting for me to realize that my life is not just about working and paying bills. He knows that I have greater responsibilities to myself and to my child. There are many responsibilities in life, and Allah had already been knocking on the door of my heart, but I was afraid to open it. At first, I thought that simply speaking to God in my mind throughout the day and mentioning His name multiple times was enough to nourish my soul, but it wasn't. It turned out that it wasn't enough. God knew that I had many struggles, that I was carrying a heavy burden, that my soul and body had urgent needs, and He saved my life, mashallah. Islam is her religion. Sister Aisha declared her heartfelt calling to take the shahadat in the Middle East. The tremor in her heart was overwhelming. When I heard the Adhan, I had to put on my sunglasses in front of the other pilots who were with me on our way to a restaurant because my eyes were filled with tears. I felt as if I wanted to say, "Stop, I need to join, this is the call to prayer." I still remember one of them, a non-Muslim friend, mocking the recitations from the Quran, and I felt very angry. In my heart, I screamed, "Fool, don't you realize that the Adhan is a call to pray to Allah? Don't you care that mocking the verses of the Quran is a sin?" But the words wouldn't come out of my throat. Instead, my tears kept flowing. That night after dinner, I reached for the carpet in my room. Somehow, I bowed down and prostrated. After that night, my search became stronger than ever. I watched videos, read the meanings of the Quran during my long flights, asked many questions to Islamic groups and organizations to find answers, and finally, one day in Argentina, while resting after a flight, I enrolled in a program on Islamic studies in this country and also browsed for information about Islam in South America. I discovered that I was not the only Hispanic interested in Islam. It was unimaginable. There were indeed many Muslims in America and Europe. I committed to returning to Argentina soon and visiting the largest mosque in the Americas. 3 months passed and I was assigned another trip to Argentina, thankfully. Upon arrival, I made an appointment and visited the mosque. I met with the sheikh, a man from the southern Arab region who led the mosque. We talked for about 3 hours, and before I left, he asked, "Do you want to embrace Islam now?" "Yes," I replied. Honestly, there was fear. What if I never returned to Argentina or never had this opportunity again? Step by step, Aisha gradually gave up drinking alcohol. In the past, even when I drank alcohol, my intention was different. I was searching for God, she admitted. Aisha secured her kitchen from pork-based ingredients. Alhamdulillah, she bought abayas, hijabs, and modest long-sleeved shirts, which have now become her fashion of choice. At work, I have to struggle a lot. In the company where I work, most people are biased about Islam. She lamented slightly about how many Muslims still wrong themselves by violating his rules, such as drinking alcohol and committing adultery. My mother is very happy with my positive transformation. She learns more about Islam every day and feels proud that I have become a Muslim. Now, my 8-year-old child has also willingly embraced Islam on his own. He is happy that we are on this safe path and aspires to meet the Creator who has given us this life. My dream as a new Muslim is to study Islamic knowledge and help my relatives who are struggling in life to accept this religion and embrace Islam. I want to focus on helping children. I think converting to a new faith is more difficult for parents with the responsibility of children because it can easily become confused. This is why I want to focus on the children of convert families in the future. I also want, as a Muslim female pilot, to show the world that Islam is not about submission or oppression as often portrayed by the media. I want to challenge the idea that Islam rejects career women. Everything has its rules, and what happened to me is by the will of Allah, the most determining. Aisha Jibril. I chose this name for my journey of faith. Aisha means new life to me, and indeed, Islam is a new life for me. Jibril, because he is the messenger of Allah, whom I deeply admire. I am in the happiness of Islam, so I want to be called by a name that is beautiful and full of peace. Please pray for me. Sister Aisha Jibril said with a smile. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.